Hi everyone, this is a video for today's pre-assessment. Here we go. Let's get started with this whole thing. All right. Okay, so number one is you have polar coordinates of 8 and pi over 6. 8 is the radius and pi over 6 is the theta. So you need to find three different coordinates that require these three, that fulfill these three I guess boundaries or yeah, so or another representation. So letter A is 8 comma 13 pi over 6 because I just added 2 pi to the pi over 6. The 8 is already greater than 0. Letter B is negative 8 comma 7 pi over 6. Remember that negative is 180 degrees, or it's across from the actual point. So the negative, make sure you are able to go 180 degrees over. All right. Letter C is 8 and negative 11 pi over 6. I just subtracted 2 pi from pi over 6. For B, section B, A is 2 comma pi over 4. Letter B is negative 2 comma 5 pi over 4. And letter C is 2 comma negative 7 pi over 4. So remember, we're kind of doing the same process here. Okay, so it just, again, I would look at the point and then try to, I would graph the point and figure out ways to get to that same coterminal point. All right. Number 2 is, this is going to be key, where x is equal to r cosine theta and y is equal to r sine theta. Okay, so for letter A, if we're gonna replace x is equal to 2 because that's the radius, cosine pi over 6, and y is equal to 2 sine pi over 6. So 2 times pi over 6 is what? 1/2. And then sorry, pi over 6 is radical 3 over 2. Sorry. Radical 3 over 2. And then this is x equals, and then this is y is equal to 2, and then sine pi over 6 is 1/2. So the x value is radical 3 here because you just cancel out the 2's, and the y value is just 1 because you just cancel out the 2's here. So radical 3 comma 1 would be your coordinates, okay, your rectangular coordinates. You do the same thing for on letter B, all right? So it's x is equal to negative 4 cosine pi over 2, and y is equal to negative 4 sine pi over 2. This is what? Negative 4 times, this is 0, because cosine of pi over 2 is 0, so that's equal to 0. And negative 4 times 1, which is negative 4. So our points are 0, negative 4. All right. Next problem here is you have the rectangular coordinates. Now you have to find the polar coordinates. So make sure you are, again, I would graph these out, and it would kind of help you understand where these are, which quadrants. Gives you a good visual picture. So this is what? Negative 2 radical 3. Let's just go here, negative 2 radical 3 and then 2. That would probably be something like this. This is negative 2 radical 3. This is positive 2. All right. And so what we need to do is we need to find the radius and the theta, right? Because that gives us the polar coordinates. To get the radius, we have to put this in the Pythagorean theorem. So it would be 2 squared plus 2 radical 3 squared equals the r squared. So it'd be 4 plus 4 times 3 equals r squared. So that's what? 4 plus 6, 12 equals r squared. 16 is equal to r squared, so r is equal to 4. So our R is 4, and then we have to get the tangent of this angle. We have to get, so tangent of theta is equal to 2 over -2 radical 3. Okay, and so cancel, this will be 1 over or -1 over radical 3. And then I rationalize it, so it'll be negative radical 3 over 3. So if you look on your trig table, where is tangent negative radical 3 over 3? And remember, it has to be in quadrant 2. So that would be 5 pi over 6. All right, so our polar coordinates would be 4 comma 5 pi over 6. All right. And then you're doing the same thing for letter B, but letter B is in the third quadrant, right? So let's erase this, yes. So this is in the third quadrant, so it would be here, here. This would be -1, this is negative radical 3. Okay, so I should draw it better. Probably like something like this. Okay, so if you do the Pythagorean theorem, it'd be -1 squared plus negative radical 3 squared is equal to r squared. This is 1 plus 3 equals r squared. So 4 is equal to r squared. So r is equal to 2. Okay. And then the theta would be the opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of that, pretty much do the same thing where it's tangent of theta is equal to -1 over -3 radical 3. So the negatives cancel out. This would be radical 3 over 3. So where is tangent equal to radical 3 over 3 in the third quadrant? And that would be 7 pi over 6. So it'd be 2 comma 7 pi over 6. That would be your answer. Okay. Number 4 is convert each rectangular equation to a polar equation here. All right. So here we go. So we have r. So we're gonna remember it's x is equal to r cosine theta, y is equal to r sine theta. So it's what? R cosine theta squared plus r sine theta squared is equal to 9. This would be r squared cosine squared theta plus r squared sine squared theta is equal to 9. Factor out the r squares, it would be cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta is equal to 9. This equals 1, so it just becomes 1 times r squared, just r squared. So r squared is equal to 9, so r is equal to 3. Okay, and that would be your equation here. Remember to get r by itself when you want to find the polar equation. The next one is x is equal to 7. Remember, we replace the x. Remember, we're doing letter B. It'll be r cosine theta is equal to 7. All you have to do is just divide the cosine theta to both sides. R is equal to 7 over cosine theta. All right. Number 5. Number 5 is now we're going the other way where we're converting polar to rectangular. All right. And so just remember for letter A, r sine theta is y, right? Y is equal to r sine theta. So all you're doing is just replacing the y with that. So y is equal to 3. The next one is you're going to put tangent on both sides. Tangent theta is equal to tangent of pi over 2. Now, tangent of pi over 2 is undefined. So tangent of theta is equal to, this is undefined here. All right. And then we're going to convert the tangent into y over x, right? Because it's the opposite over adjacent. So at the end of the day, when you think about this, where's a linear equation that's undefined? It's going to be x is equal to 0. Okay, because if you look at this, right? Okay, right. If you go, this is the rise over run. If you just go down here, rise over run, it would be 1 over 0, which is undefined. So in this case, this would be your answer right here. Going through the, and remember, it has to go through the pi over 2, right? So it only makes sense to go through the y-axis. Okay. Number 6 is, remember that you have to put a table together for number 6. All right, I'm going to be looking for that. All right, and so you put a table together. All right. All right, you're going to put, remember, 0, pi over 6. This is the theta. This is the r. Pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 6, and pi. Or letter A, hopefully you know this is a circle, right? Okay, so this is, and then you're getting the r is equal to 2 sine theta. So r is equal to 2 times, remember at 0, sine of 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0. Then r is equal to 2 times the sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. 2 times 1/2 is 1. Okay, then it's pi over 4, so r is equal to 2 times radical 2 over 2. Cancel out the 2's, radical 2 is 1.414. Or you can put radical 2, but remember we're graphing this, so that's why you want to put it in decimal. R is equal to 2, and then what? Radical 3 over 2. So cancel out the 2's, radical 3 is 1 point, I believe it's 1.7, something like that. 1 point, let me double check. Calculator. Radical 3 is 1.7, yes. Okay, and then pi over 2 is r is equal to 2 times 1, which is 2. R is equal to, so it's going to cycle back, right? Radical 3 over 2, which is 1.7. This will be 1.414. This will be 1, and this will be 0. So if you graph this on a polar coordinate here, okay, let's just, I'm going to do a quick, I'll give you graph paper, by the way, when you guys do this, and hopefully look better than this. All right, so 0, 0, I'm going to graph this in red. 0, 0 is right here. Pi over 6 and 1 is right here. Pi over 4 and 1.414. 1.414 would be like halfway between 1 and the first circle and the second circle. So it would be right here, and pi over 4 is right here. Pi over 3 and 1.77 is inching closer to the second circle. And then at pi over 2 and 0 will be right here. Then it's cycling back, right? And you should have a circle coming this way. Right. Okay. All right. And for this one, you could stop at pi, but be careful. Well, I mean, and so if you keep going, you should probably all the way go to 2 pi. But because it's a circle, this one, if you know it's a circle, you could just stop at 2 pi at pi. For letter B, you need to go all the way from 0 to 2 pi because it's not a circle. Okay, it's a limosone, right? And so we talked about that before. All right, and so let's put a table together here. Okay, so if you put a table together here, this is probably the longest problem of the test. So this is 0, pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 6, and then pi, and then what? 7 pi over 6, and then 5 pi over 4, and then what? 4 pi over 3, and 3 pi over 2. Go all the way with this here. All right, with this one, so it's 5 pi over 3, 7 pi over 4, 11 pi over 6, and then 2 pi. All right, so notice that this type of equation for letter A is just 2 sine theta. So that should be a pretty straightforward circle. The next one is a limacon with an inner loop, and you know that because the A is greater than the B, right? Or A over B is less than, is greater than 1, right? And so that's where you're going to have that, okay? And so it's greater than 1. So you're going to have that loop, right, that we talked about before. All right, so let me double check that real quick before I keep going. So is chapter 6. Make sure. A over B is less than 1. A is, oh, you know what, I'm mistaken on that one. That one is A over B is in between, A over B is in between 1 and 2. Okay, so let's graph this whole thing out because it's kind of a little bit all over the place on this one. So here we go. So this one is going to be R is equal to 2 plus cosine theta. Here we go. This is the theta. This is the R. So R is equal to, this is going to be a long one. Cosine of 0 is 0. So that'll be 2. Sorry, cosine of 0 is, my bad, it's 1. So that should be 3. Right? Cosine of 0. Yeah. R is equal to 2 plus cosine of pi over 6. Cosine of pi over 6 is radical 3 over 2. 2 plus radical 3 over 2 on your calculator is 0.81, 0.86. 86. So then 2, so be adding that would be 2.86. All right. R is equal to 2 plus, and then cosine of pi over 4. Cosine of pi over 4 is radical 2 over 2. That's equal to radical 2 divided by 2. That's 0.707. So that is what, 2.707. Then R is equal to 2 plus the cosine of pi over 3. The cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. So 2 plus 1/2 is 2.5. And then R is equal to 2 plus the cosine of pi over 2. Cosine of pi over 2 is 0, so that's just 2. All right. Then you go back to this again. So this is what 2, R is equal to. Now remember, cosine is negative on this one. Be 2 plus negative 1/2, right? Because the cosine is, remember the x value, it's going to turn negative. So this would be negative, or sorry, 1.5. Okay, and then R is equal to 2 plus, or negative 0.707, right? So that is what, 2 plus negative 0.07, that is 1 point, let's say almost 1.3. Then R is equal to 2 plus negative 0.86, so 2 minus 0.86 is 1.14. And then R is equal to 2 plus cosine of pi, which is negative 1. So that's 1. Right? And then we go back to, we're now back to this cycle here because they're both negative here. I mean, this and this are both the same cosine value. So R is equal to 2 plus negative 0.86. So that'll be 1.14. R is equal to 2 plus negative 0.707, which is about 1.3. It's like 1.29. So this will keep it 1.3. Then R is equal to 2 plus negative 1/2, right, which is 1.5. And then R is equal to 2 plus, and then see here, the cosine of 3 pi over 2. The cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0, so it'll be back to 2. Right? All right, and then let's keep going. 5 pi over 3, so r is equal to 2 plus 5 pi over 3, that's 1/2, that's 2.5. This is r is equal to 2 plus, what was it, 0.707. So that's 2.7, and r is equal to 2 plus 0.86, which is 2.86. And then r is equal to 2 plus 1, which is 3. All right, so now let's graph this, and then I have to get going. And so when I graph this here, let me finish this real quick. I'm doing a video real quick. So let me finish this video. 2, 3. All right, so 0, 3, 0 is right here. Let me do it in blue. Pi over 6 and 2.86 is right here. Pi over 4 and 2.7 is right here. 2.5 and pi over 3 is like right here. And then what? 0 and 2 and pi over 2 would be right here. And then what? 2 pi over 3 at 1.5 would be right here. And then 3 pi over 4 at 1.3 would be here. And then 1.14 would be like right here. And then this, so you see that this is where like it kind of like flattens out right here. And you're just gonna keep going. And I'm having disruptive students come in my class right now, so I have to finish this. It's gonna look something like this. So there's like a little, look like I guess a circle with a dent on it. I will finish this recording later on. Thank you so much.
I'm not doing this.